Today I'll be talking about our short film entitled Birdcage. Our film opening was inspired by the 2012 movie Argo, directed by Ben Affleck. In the first few minutes of this film, the history of the Persian Empire is explained through a combination of animation, photographs, and short video segments. We were initially inspired to tell a story in this manner, trying to think more outside of the box than a simple video film opening. We then randomly started picturing origami figures one day, and immediately knew we had found our topic. But how can an entire film just be about origami? That's when we started researching different historical events and decided to incorporate the origami into a film about Japanese internment camps. I'll now go through the opening as part of a director's commentary, and for the purpose of this commentary, I have muted the voiceover so I can speak as the film is being played. This entire opening sequence tells the story of the Chinese zodiac through origami animals that we tirelessly folded ourselves. Aesthetically, we felt as though the wood floor provided an earthiness that accompanied the content really well. In addition, we used a lamp to create interesting shadows and ensure the lighting complemented our artistic approach to telling the story. By using a lamp, we were also able to control all aspects of light and really create a focus on the origami figures. The music I composed for this opening section is subtle and entirely based on Japanese scales and modes. I also recorded instruments such as the Japanese koto and flute to authenticate the musical score. As the story progresses and we get closer to the dramatic ending, the music becomes more complex and intricate to really highlight and enhance the dialogue being told by the voiceover. In this section, the voiceover is explaining the great race between the animals, relating to the order of the zodiac, something that is extremely relevant later on in the film. The stark contrast between this shot and the previous one really exemplifies what the film is about for the very first time. We color corrected these outdoor shots to make the mood dull and dreary and show that this little girl is reaching out to grab the newspaper so she can create more of these origami figures. From the setting of a Japanese internment camp, we can infer that this is really the character's only form of entertainment, and this depressing sense is highlighted in this section. The voiceover at this part of the film explains how the origami and zodiac-relating opening ties into her life in the internment camp, with the final statement, "Thousands of years ago, we had pushed the cat into the river, and now it felt like we were finally paying the price," as told in the voiceover. We also kept this second half of the ending silent, with Foley sounds for the wind, newspaper, and stick against the fence. The sudden absence of music really added to the overall effect of dullness and the feeling of emptiness. We left the ending in a way that would allow an entire film to be created and continued from the last scene. We made it a point to keep in mind that this 2-minute film is really just the opening to a film, and wanted to make sure the ending could be continued. We chose the topic of Japanese internment camps during World War II primarily because of how underrepresented it is in media. After researching the topic, my partner and I found only 3 feature films that had anything to do with Japanese internment camps. We thought this realization was rather surprising, and we both ended up deciding to make it our mission to pay respect to the hundreds of thousands of individuals that suffered in this time period. With this being said, we believe producing this film with a major film company such as Warner Brothers, the company that produced Argo, would be a great way to introduce this topic to an audience that may not otherwise have ever even heard of Japanese internment camps. So many Americans do not know that this exists, let alone that it happened in California. With this being said, we would like to distribute the film to as large an audience as possible, to be a voice for those who are not allowed to speak out during this time. Throughout the process of creating this film, I learned a lot about camera work and film techniques. As a music composer, I'm typically given a finished product and asked to start working from there, but being heavily involved in the process of actually filming and editing the video was a really great experience for me. I feel as though this will help me in my future projects by understanding the detailed intentions of filmmakers and knowing that every single decision that went into the filmmaking process was deliberate and purposeful. I also feel as though my skills in editing sound were raised from the tedious process of editing and picture matching Foley sounds. For the filming process itself, we used my Canon Rebel T2i to capture our shots. We were extremely happy with the video quality of each shot, and we were also able to execute focus pulls with ease. The use of a tripod also helped in keeping the camera steady and making sure there was no unnecessary motion. In terms of technology, the programs I used include Logic Pro X for the audio and instrumental recordings, and Final Cut Pro for editing the video. I composed an original musical score for this film and was able to record each individual instrument myself, as I was not able to use any additional musicians for the project. Coupled with Logic Pro X, I use a microphone through a PreSonus audio box recording interface to record each instrument and the voiceover. In addition, I use Logic Pro X to edit the recordings, adding effects and filters such as reverb, compression, and equalization, as shown above. These are some of the different effects I used. In addition, I used panning, volume, and velocity of each track to ensure that the final product was complete. In total, I had 11 tracks encompassing the music, voiceover, and Foley sounds, and Logic Pro X was definitely a great tool to keep everything clean and organized. For video editing, Final Cut Pro was fantastic in helping with color correction and putting all of our clips in the desired order. In the origami sequence of our film, we had a bit of camera motion that needed stabilization, and Final Cut Pro was able to handle this task with ease. As shown, here are the different clips that we used for our film. It was also very helpful that Logic Pro X and Final Cut Pro are compatible, and it made incorporating the music into the film relatively simple. Aside from the software and hardware, I use Google Blogger to track our progress and document every aspect of the brainstorming, filming, and post-production processes. As you can see, I posted daily about our ideas, progress, background information, as well as the final film. Here are some of the examples of the posts that I did throughout this project. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the opening to our film, Birdcage.